Good afternoon. Welcome to Quarantine Cooking at the Fayette County Public Library with Miss Lisa. Today we are going to make hush puppies. And let me tell you the ingredients that you're going to need if you want to go ahead and get your things ready. You need fresh oil. And you need to turn it up to 350 degrees. Don't turn it up higher. When I tried this at home, I had it up to 400 and it burnt. So don't do that. Keep it at the 350 degrees. You need cornmeal. You need some baking powder, some baking soda. You need 1 egg. Okay, and this is my cornmeal. This is 1 cup of flour. You're going to need a couple teaspoons of sugar. You can have 1/2 cup of buttermilk. And one recipe I found suggested that you use 2 teaspoons of little tiny cubes of butter. And that butter in the mix will help expand the cornmeal and make it nice and fluffy. To add your flavoring in your hush puppy, you can have some onion and some garlic powder, and you're just going to sprinkle that in to taste it. So as I was doing my research on hush puppy, I wondered, where did that word come from? Because it's pretty strange, the word hush puppy. And so the first recorded time that hush puppy was used in history was back in 1899. And it's often attributed to fishermen or to hunters who would fry up the food that they had caught that day. And in order to hush or quiet their dogs, they would throw some of their cooking to them to hush their puppies. So I thought that was interesting. Another legend that comes from the Civil War era, in which Confederate soldiers were also told to take their fried cornmeal and throw it to their dogs to also get them to be quiet. Now, hush puppies are pretty much an American thing. There are some other countries that do make something similar. I found in my research that Jamaica makes a hush puppy type thing, though they make them long, sort of like a hot dog style, and they serve it with jerk chicken. Now, also, I found in Puerto Rico, they make the little tiny hush puppies long oblong size, but they stuff it with cheese. So there's some options. If you want to look up those recipes, you might be able to make something a little bit different than the normal hush puppy that we have here. Now, here in America, we can go to some restaurants, we can go and get hush puppies, but we can make it very simply at home as well. So let's go ahead and get ready to make our hush puppies. The first thing we need to do is add in all of our dry ingredients. So we are going to take our 1 cup of cornmeal. Okay, this is cornmeal, and we're going to put it in our mixing bowl. Then you need just 1/3 cup of flour, and you're going to pour that in with your cornmeal. Another dry ingredient you have is sugar, and you only need 2 teaspoons, so we'll put 2 teaspoons of sugar. We'll go ahead and stir that up just a little bit. Then you need your baking powder and baking soda. So our baking powder, we need 1 teaspoon of this, so we'll get a nice even teaspoon of that. And we only need about 1/4 of a teaspoon of the baking powder, or I'm sorry, baking soda. Just get a little bit of that and throw that in there. All right, then you need to add your flavorings. You can add your salt, and again, it's just a taste, so we'll just do a couple little sprinkles of salt. And for onion, let me find the opening here, we'll just sprinkle a little onion in there to give it some onion flavor. Now, those that love onion, just go ahead and cut up some onion and have little pieces of onion and put it in your batter. Especially if you use the scallions or the ones that have green on it, it helps to make your hush puppy a little bit more colorful. Garlic is another seasoning we can add, so we'll just add a little bit of garlic, and I can start to smell this. Smelling pretty good here. We'll stir all those things together, and then we need to add our wet ingredients. So I'm going to take our egg, crack it, and put it in the batter. Go ahead and stir that up. Then it said 1/2 cup of buttermilk, but it said you might not need all of it. So I would suggest that we dump about half of it in first, because you want your batter to be not soupy. So you want it sort of like cake mix-like. You want it to be able to glump together and make a little ball, but you don't want it really runny. So you can see I don't have everything mixed in together well, so we'll go ahead and add probably another 1/4 of our buttermilk. And it's starting to look pretty good. The consistency looks about right. Oh, there was a little sugar on the bottom, not all mixed in yet. We definitely don't want to forget the sugar, as we know from past episodes. All right, I am going to actually add this last little bit. It looks like the 1/2 cup of buttermilk is going to be about perfect today. Now, I did do some research into different recipes for hush puppies, and one lady said that she suggested the little cubes of butter. That little cube of butter will poof out the batter as you put it in the hot oil and cause it to be really good. So I'm going to put those little cubes of butter in there and stir those around. Mine were pretty soft, so I guess they're not staying like little cubes. We'll just see what happens here. All right, and again, we want just little dollops, little bite-sized hush puppies that we can just pop right into our mouth. So you can use a teaspoon if you would like, or you can use like a little melon scoop. So this is what I'm going to use today. So you're going to put your batter in your melon scoop, and then it is ready to go. We have our perfect little bite-sized hush puppies this way. Oh, you can hear it frying. And you're going to want to turn it pretty quickly because, like I said before, you don't want to burn them. Hush puppies are definitely not very tasty if they are burnt. So in this pan, it looks like I can get about 8 at a time. And I will take my other spoon. Let's turn over the ones. Oh, look at that. Looks about perfect. It only takes 30 seconds to a minute on each side. And then you're going to pull them out and have a taste. You do not have to have enough oil to cover them. You can if you want, but flipping it over is just as good as well. Try these last couple. And that's really how simple it is. I really didn't realize how simple these hush puppies are. It's just fried corn batter, adding some of the other spices to make it really yummy. All right, I think these are about ready to come out. Yeah, let me just check both sides here. Don't want them too brown. I know going to Long John Silver's, you can get some really awesome hush puppies, but this little show will show you that it's just as easy to make them at home. Now again, since we are frying in oil, you're going to want to drain off the oil before you eat it. So if you have a slotted spoon, something like that, that works good to sort of drain it and put it on the paper toweling before you serve it to your guests and your family. These are actually fairly large hush puppies. All right, what do you think about that? Those look really, really good. All right, and I have just a little bit more batter, so it looks like the recipe makes about maybe 1.5 dozen, maybe about 18 of this size hush puppy. If you make them smaller, I'm sure you can get a few more. Well, guys, this was short and sweet and simple. Hush puppies are not hard to make. I hope that you will make them at your house. And if you do, shoot us a picture. Show us that you've made them. We enjoy hearing from our listeners. And really, that's about all I have to say today. This is Quarantine Cooking at Fayette County Public Library with Miss Lisa. Please tune in again next Friday at 2 o'clock for another delicious, simple, fast treat that you can make for your family. Bye-bye.